Humans meet the Zirconians. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UNSS Endeavour, her heart racing with anticipation. After years of searching the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, humanity was about to make first contact. The sleek exploration vessel hung in high orbit around an alien world, a shimmering blue-green marble that looked remarkably like Earth. "Status report," Sarah called out, her voice steady despite her nerves. Lieutenant Rodriguez, the ship's science officer, looked up from his console. "Sensors are detecting a massive energy signature from the planet's surface, Captain. It appears to be some kind of transmission array, aimed directly at us." Sarah nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. So the inhabitants of this world had noticed their arrival. That made things simpler in a way. No need for covert observation or debates about revealing themselves. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Let's say hello." As her communications officer worked to establish a link, Sarah took a deep breath. The weight of this moment wasn't lost on her. She was about to become the first human in history to speak with an alien species. The fate of Earth could hinge on what happened in the next few minutes. Suddenly, the main view screen flickered to life. Sarah found herself staring at a being that was undeniably alien, yet also strangely familiar. The creature had a vaguely humanoid shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. But that's where the similarities ended. Its skin was a mottled purple-grey, almost translucent in places. Multifaceted eyes that reminded Sarah of a dragonfly's dominated its face. When it spoke, its voice was melodic, almost musical. "Greetings, visitors from beyond. I am High Chancellor Zix of the Zirconian people. We welcome you to our world." Sarah blinked in surprise. The alien was speaking perfect English. How was that possible? She pushed her confusion aside, focusing on the diplomat's role she now had to play. "Greetings, High Chancellor Zix. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Nations spaceship Endeavour. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." Zix's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with what Sarah hoped was approval. "Your arrival has been long anticipated, humans of Earth. We have observed your world for many of your years, learned your languages and customs. We are pleased to finally make direct contact." Sarah's mind reeled at this revelation. The Zirconians had been watching Earth. For how long? And why hadn't they made contact sooner? She filed these questions away for later. Right now, she needed to focus on building a positive relationship. "We are honored by your interest in our world, High Chancellor. We too seek to learn about new civilizations and expand our understanding of the universe." Zix made a gesture that Sarah interpreted as a nod. "Then we have much to discuss, Captain Chen. With your permission, I would like to send a delegation to your ship. We can begin the process of cultural exchange immediately." Sarah hesitated for just a moment. Allowing an alien delegation on board so quickly went against standard first contact protocols. But she sensed an opportunity here, a chance to fast-track relations with a clearly advanced species. Sometimes you had to trust your instincts. "We would be delighted to host your delegation, High Chancellor. I look forward to meeting in person." As the communication ended, Sarah turned to her crew. She could see the mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces, mirroring her own emotions. "Well, people," she said with a grin, "it looks like we're about to make history. Let's give our new friends a proper Earth welcome." The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity as the Endeavour prepared to receive its alien guests. Sarah oversaw the preparations personally, ensuring that the ship's conference room was ready and that all crew members were briefed on proper protocol. When the Zirconian shuttle finally docked with the Endeavour, Sarah was there to greet them. As the airlock cycled open, she got her first in-person look at the aliens. They were even more striking up close, their translucent skin seeming to pulse with an inner light. High Chancellor Zix led the group, flanked by what appeared to be advisors or scientists. "Welcome aboard the Endeavour," Sarah said, bowing slightly. "We're honored to have you here." Zix returned the gesture. "The honor is ours, Captain Chen. We have long dreamed of this day." As they made their way to the conference room, Sarah couldn't help but notice the Zirconians' reactions to their surroundings. They seemed fascinated by everything, from the ship's architecture to the human crew members they passed. It was a reminder that this cultural exchange would go both ways. Once settled in the conference room, the real discussions began. Sarah learned that the Zirconians were an ancient species, having achieved spaceflight thousands of years before humans. They had explored much of the galaxy, but had a strict policy of non-interference with developing civilizations. "We watched your species grow," Zix explained. "From your first hesitant steps into space to your current interplanetary civilization. We debated long and hard about when to make contact." "Why now?" Sarah asked, genuinely curious. Zix's multifaceted eyes seemed to twinkle. "Because you reached out, Captain. Your endeavor is the first human ship to venture this far into deep space. It showed us that you were ready." The implications of this statement were staggering. Humanity had unknowingly been auditioning for first contact for decades, perhaps centuries. Their every achievement, every setback, had been observed and evaluated. As the meeting progressed, Sarah found herself growing more and more impressed with the Zirconians. They were clearly highly advanced, with technology that seemed almost magical by human standards. But they were also curious, eager to learn about Earth and its people. "Tell me, Captain," one of the Zirconian scientists asked, "how do humans approach problem-solving? We've observed your rapid technological advancement, but have yet to fully understand the process behind it." Sarah thought for a moment. "I suppose you could say we're driven by curiosity and necessity. When we encounter a problem, we don't rest until we've found a solution. And often, that solution leads to new questions, new challenges to overcome." The Zirconians exchanged looks that Sarah couldn't quite interpret. Was it surprise? Admiration? She wasn't sure. "Fascinating," Zix said. "This relentless drive of yours is something we've noted before. It's part of what makes your species so intriguing to us." As the meeting wound down, Sarah felt a sense of excitement building within her. This was just the beginning. The knowledge and technology the Zirconians could share would catapult humanity forward by centuries. And in return, perhaps humans could offer their new alien friends a fresh perspective, a new way of looking at the universe. "High Chancellor," Sarah said as they prepared to conclude, "I believe this meeting marks the beginning of a profound friendship between our peoples. There's so much we can learn from each other." Zix made a gesture that Sarah now recognized as agreement. "Indeed, Captain Chen. But I must warn you, the road ahead may not be smooth. Our peoples are very different, and misunderstandings are bound to occur." Sarah nodded, appreciating the alien's honesty. "We're prepared for challenges, High Chancellor. Overcoming them together will only strengthen our bond." As the Zirconian delegation prepared to depart, Sarah felt a mix of emotions. Excitement for the future, pride in representing humanity, and a touch of apprehension about the unknown challenges ahead. But most of all, she felt a sense of wonder. The universe had just become a much bigger, more interesting place. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she called out as she returned to the bridge. "Prepare a transmission to Earth. I think it's time we shared the big news." As the Endeavor's powerful communications array aimed itself at the distant blue marble they called home, Sarah took a moment to appreciate the magnitude of what had just occurred. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger galaxy, full of wonders and potential new friends. The adventure was just beginning. Cultural exchange, misunderstandings, and revelations. The weeks following first contact were a whirlwind of activity for Captain Sarah Chen and her crew. The UNSS Endeavour had become a hub of interspecies diplomacy, with delegations from Earth arriving daily to meet with the Zirconians. Scientists, politicians, and cultural experts from both species engaged in endless discussions, each side eager to learn from the other. Sarah found herself in the role of mediator more often than not, smoothing over misunderstandings and bridging cultural gaps. It was exhausting work, but deeply rewarding. With each passing day, she felt the bonds between humans and Zirconians growing stronger. One particular afternoon, Sarah was overseeing a joint research project between human and Zirconian scientists. Dr. Amelia Roth, Earth's leading xenobiologist, was working alongside Zeln, a Zirconian expert in comparative physiology. "It's extraordinary," Dr. Roth exclaimed, examining a holographic display of Zirconian cellular structure. "Your cells seem to be in a constant state of flux, almost as if they're dancing." Zeln's multifaceted eyes shimmered with what Sarah had come to recognize as amusement. "An apt description, Dr. Roth. Our bodies are in harmony with the energy flows of the universe. It's the foundation of our longevity." Sarah perked up at this. "Longevity? Just how long do Zirconians live, if you don't mind me asking?" Zeln seemed to consider for a moment. "In your terms, approximately 500 of your Earth years." The room fell silent. Dr. Roth's jaw dropped, and Sarah felt her own eyes widen in shock. 500 years. The implications were staggering. "That's incredible," Sarah finally managed. "How do you manage population growth with such long lifespans?" Zeln's skin rippled in a way that Sarah had learned indicated discomfort. "We do not reproduce as frequently as humans do. A Zirconian might have 1 or 2 offspring in their entire lifetime." Dr. Roth leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. "Fascinating. And how often does reproduction occur?" "Once every 50 years or so," Zeln replied. "It's a sacred and rare event for us." Sarah could see Dr. Roth's mind working, making calculations. "But that's a remarkably low birth rate. How do you maintain your population?" Zeln's discomfort seemed to grow. "It is sufficient for our needs. We value quality over quantity, as you might say." Sarah sensed there was more to this story, but decided not to push. Cultural sensitivity was crucial at this stage of their relationship. Instead, she steered the conversation to less fraught topics, discussing the differences in human and Zirconian physiologies. As the day wore on, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled upon something significant. The vast difference in lifespans and reproductive rates between humans and Zirconians was bound to have profound implications for their budding alliance. Later that evening, Sarah was having dinner with High Chancellor Zix in her private quarters. As they enjoyed a meal that fused Earth and Zirconian cuisines, she decided to broach the subject. "Chancellor," she began carefully, "I hope you don't mind me asking, but I've been thinking about what we learned today about Zirconian lifespans and reproduction. I can't help but wonder, does it concern you? The difference between our species in this regard." Zix set down his eating utensil, his expression unreadable. "Your directness is refreshing, Captain Chen. To be honest, it is something we have been discussing among ourselves." Sarah leaned forward, intrigued. "Oh." Zix's skin rippled in what Sarah now recognized as a sigh. "You must understand, Captain. We Zirconians have been a stable, some might say stagnant, civilization for millennia. Our long lives and low birth rates have led to a society that changes very, very slowly, and then we encounter humanity." He paused, his multifaceted eyes fixed on Sarah. "Your lives are so brief by our standards, yet you burn so brightly. You create, you innovate, you push boundaries at a pace that is, frankly, a bit terrifying to us." Sarah felt a mix of pride and concern at Zix's words. "I hope we haven't overwhelmed you, Chancellor. That's certainly not our intent." Zix made a gesture that Sarah had learned meant no offense taken. "On the contrary, Captain, many of us find humanity's vigor invigorating. It's been a long time since our people have felt such excitement about the future, but others are worried," Sarah finished for him. "Indeed," Zix confirmed. "They fear that close association with humans might destabilize our society. That your short lives and quick reproductive cycle might lead to you overwhelming us, intentionally or not." Sarah sat back, processing this information. It was a valid concern, she had to admit. Earth's history was full of examples of faster reproducing populations displacing others. But surely, with their advanced technology and centuries of accumulated wisdom, the Zirconians weren't truly threatened by humanity. Chancellor, she said carefully, I want to assure you that we have no desire to overwhelm or displace your people. We seek a partnership of equals, where both our species can benefit and grow together. Zix's skin color shifted slightly, a sign of emotional response. I believe you, Captain Chen, and I am one of those who welcome humanity's influence, but not all my people share this view. There are factions forming, some who wish to embrace this new relationship fully, and others who advocate for isolationism, for a return to our policy of non-interference. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. She had been so focused on the positive aspects of their encounter, she hadn't considered the potential for political strife among the Zirconians. If their society fractured over this issue, it could spell disaster for the fledgling human-Zirconian alliance. What can we do? She asked, leaning forward intently. How can we address these concerns and show that humanity is a worthy partner? Zix's eyes seemed to sparkle with approval. This, Captain Chen, is why I have high hopes for our future together. Your immediate response is to seek solutions, to bridge divides. It is a very human trait, and one I admire greatly. He paused, seeming to gather his thoughts. I believe the key lies in cultural exchange. The more our peoples interact, the more we'll come to understand and appreciate each other. But it must be done carefully, with respect for our differences. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. What if we organized a series of joint projects? Not just scientific endeavors, but artistic and cultural ones as well. We could showcase the best of both our civilizations, demonstrating how we complement each other. Zix made a gesture of enthusiastic agreement. An excellent suggestion, Captain. I would add that perhaps we could also find ways to address some of the concerns about population dynamics. If we could show how human innovation might benefit Zirconian society without overwhelming it. As they continued to discuss ideas late into the night, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. Yes, there were challenges ahead, but there were also incredible opportunities. The key would be to find the right balance, to show how humanity's dynamism and the Zirconians' wisdom could create something greater than the sum of its parts. As she bid goodnight to Zix and prepared for bed, Sarah's mind was buzzing with plans. Tomorrow, she would begin organizing the cultural exchange initiatives. She would reach out to Earth's greatest artists, thinkers, and innovators. They would show the Zirconians the best of humanity, their creativity, their compassion, their relentless drive to improve and explore. And in doing so, perhaps they would forge a bond between their species that could withstand any challenge. A partnership that could unlock the secrets of the universe and propel both civilizations to new heights. As she drifted off to sleep, Sarah Chen smiled. The adventure was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to see where it would lead. The galactic challenge, humans prove their worth. 6 months had passed since the first contact between humans and Zirconians. The cultural exchange programs initiated by Captain Sarah Chen had been a resounding success, fostering understanding and friendship between the two species. However, tensions still simmered beneath the surface, particularly among the more conservative factions of Zirconian society. Sarah stood on the observation deck of the UNSS Endeavour, gazing out at the star-studded expanse of space. The ship had been retrofitted with Zirconian technology, allowing it to travel faster and farther than ever before. It was a testament to the potential of their alliance, but Sarah knew they needed something more to truly cement the bond between their peoples. As if on cue, her communication device chimed. It was a message from High Chancellor Zix, requesting an urgent meeting. Intrigued, Sarah made her way to the ship's conference room. When she arrived, she found Zix's holographic form already waiting for her. The Zirconian leader's expression was grave. Captain Chen, Zix began without preamble, we face a crisis that may provide an opportunity to silence the doubters and strengthen our alliance. Sarah leaned forward, her interest piqued. "I'm listening, Chancellor." Zix's form shimmered as he explained. "A rogue pulsar has entered the Zolthor system, home to one of our oldest colonies. The intense radiation threatens to render the planet uninhabitable within weeks. We need to evacuate over 1 million Zirconians, but our ships are too few and too slow to complete the task in time." Sarah's mind raced, immediately grasping the implications. "You want our help with the evacuation?" Zix nodded. "More than that, Captain. We need humanity's innovative spirit. Our conservative approach to problem-solving has left us ill-equipped to handle a crisis of this magnitude. This is an opportunity for humans to demonstrate their value to our alliance in a tangible, undeniable way." Sarah felt a surge of determination. This was exactly the kind of challenge humans excelled at, a seemingly impossible task with lives on the line. "We'll do it, Chancellor. I'll contact Earth immediately and request a fleet of our fastest ships. We'll also assemble a team of our best engineers and problem solvers." Zix's multifaceted eyes shimmered with what Sarah now recognized as hope. "Thank you, Captain. I knew we could count on you." As soon as the communication ended, Sarah sprang into action. She sent urgent messages to Earth, explaining the situation and requesting immediate assistance. Then she gathered her crew, briefing them on the crisis and the opportunity it presented. "This is our chance to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of," she concluded. "Let's make it count." The response from Earth was swift and overwhelming. Within days, a fleet of Earth's most advanced ships arrived in the Zolthor system, led by the newly christened UNSS Horizon, Earth's first faster-than-light capable vessel. Along with the ships came a team of Earth's brightest minds, engineers, physicists, and logistics experts, all ready to tackle the seemingly impossible task of evacuating an entire planet in a matter of weeks. Sarah found herself coordinating the massive operation from the bridge of the Horizon. The scene before her was one of organized chaos, human and Zirconian ships darting back and forth, ferrying evacuees to safety, while engineers worked frantically to boost the ship's capacities and speed. Dr. Amelia Roth, the xenobiologist Sarah had worked with earlier, approached her with a tablet in hand. "Captain, I think we found a way to increase our evacuation rate dramatically." Sarah turned to her, hope rising in her chest. "Go on." Dr. Roth's eyes gleamed with excitement. "We've been studying Zirconian physiology, and we believe we can induce a state of suspended animation in the evacuees. It would allow us to transport far more individuals per trip, as life support requirements would be minimal." Sarah's mind raced with the possibilities. "Is it safe?" "We've run simulations, and the Zirconian scientists agree it's our best option," Dr. Roth replied. "It's not without risks, but given the alternative." Sarah nodded grimly. The alternative was leaving millions to die on a doomed planet. Do it. Coordinate with the Zirconian medical team and start implementing immediately. As days turned into weeks, the evacuation effort intensified. Human ingenuity continued to shine through. Engineers devised ways to refit cargo ships into massive transport vessels. Physicists worked with their Zirconian counterparts to create temporary force fields, allowing ships to carry evacuees in their cargo holds safely. But it wasn't just technological solutions that impressed the Zirconians. They watched in awe as human crews worked tirelessly, pushing themselves to the brink of exhaustion and beyond. The humans' determination and spirit of self-sacrifice in the face of such a monumental task was unlike anything the long-lived Zirconians had ever witnessed. As the deadline loomed closer, Sarah found herself working around the clock, coordinating the efforts of both fleets and making split-second decisions that could mean the difference between life and death for thousands. It was during one of these frantic moments that Lieutenant Rodriguez approached her, his face pale. "Captain, we've detected a massive solar flare from the pulsar. It's going to hit the planet in less than an hour." Sarah's blood ran cold. They still had over 100,000 Zirconians on the surface. "How many can we get off in time?" Rodriguez shook his head. Maybe half if we push our ships beyond safe limits. For a moment, Sarah felt the weight of those lives crushing down on her. Then, a crazy idea struck her. The force fields we've been using in the cargo holds, can we scale them up? Rodriguez's eyes widened as he caught on. You want to create a planetary shield. Captain, that's never been done before. The power requirements alone would be enormous, yes, Sarah finished for him. But we have a fleet of ships at our disposal. If we link their power systems, she didn't need to finish. Rodriguez was already running calculations on his tablet. It's risky, Captain. If it fails, we'll lose half our fleet. Sarah met his gaze steadily. And if it works, we save 100,000 lives. Make it happen, Lieutenant. The next hour was the most intense of Sarah's life. She watched as the human and Zirconian fleets maneuvered into position around the planet, their power systems linking up in a way never before attempted. Engineers on both sides worked feverishly to adapt the force field technology to a planetary scale. As the pulsar's flare approached, Sarah held her breath. The combined fleet glowed with power, and then, miraculously, a shimmering field enveloped the entire planet. The flare hit with devastating force, but the shield held. On the surface, the remaining Zirconians watched in awe as the sky burned while they remained unharmed. In the aftermath, as the last of the evacuees were brought to safety, Sarah received a communication from High Chancellor Zix. The Zirconian leader's usually composed features were alight with emotion. Captain Chen, he began, his voice thick with gratitude. You and your people have accomplished the impossible. You've saved not just lives, but an entire civilization's history and culture. The doubters among my people have been silenced. The human-Zirconian alliance is no longer a matter of debate. It is a necessity for our future. Sarah felt a wave of relief and pride wash over her. Thank you, Chancellor. We're just glad we could help. This crisis has shown that together, there's nothing our peoples cannot accomplish. As the communication ended, Sarah looked out at the fleet of human and Zirconian ships working in perfect harmony. She knew that this was just the beginning. The galactic challenge had been met, and humanity had proven its worth beyond any doubt. The universe, with all its wonders and dangers, awaited them. And now, united with the Zirconians, humanity was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Crisis on Zircon, humans to the rescue. The successful evacuation of the Zolfo colony had cemented the alliance between humans and Zirconians. In the months that followed, cooperation between the two species flourished. Joint scientific ventures pushed the boundaries of known physics, while cultural exchanges led to fascinating new art forms and philosophies. Captain Sarah Chen, now promoted to admiral, found herself at the forefront of this new era of interstellar cooperation. The UNSS Horizon, under her command, had become a symbol of the Alliance's strength and potential. It was during a routine diplomatic mission to Zircon, the Zirconian homeworld, that everything changed. Sarah stood in the Grand Assembly Hall of the Zirconian capital, surrounded by the planet's most influential leaders. High Chancellor Zix was presenting the latest findings from a joint xenobiology study when alarms began blaring throughout the building. Zix's multifaceted eyes widened in alarm. An emergency alert. This is unprecedented. Before anyone could react further, the room's holographic display flickered to life, showing a planet-wide broadcast. The image revealed a Zirconian scientist, her translucent skin pulsing with agitation. Attention all citizens, the scientist began, her musical voice tinged with urgency. We have detected a critical instability in our planet's core. Preliminary data suggests a cascade reaction that could lead to planetary destruction within days. The assembly hall erupted in chaos. Zirconians, usually so composed and long-thinking, were gripped by a panic that their long lifespans had ill-prepared them for. Sarah's mind raced. A planetary core destabilization. The scale of such a disaster was almost beyond comprehension. She turned to Zix, who seemed frozen in shock. Chancellor, she said firmly, gripping his arm, We need to act fast. What resources do you have available to address this? Zix's eyes refocused on her, gratitude evident in his gaze. We have never faced a crisis of this magnitude, Admiral Chen. Our geological intervention technology is limited at best. Sarah nodded, already formulating a plan. Then we'll use ours. I'm contacting Earth immediately. We'll need every expert and every piece of advanced equipment we can get our hands on. As Sarah coordinated with Earth, the full scale of the crisis became clear. The Zirconian homeworld's core had become unstable due to centuries of energy harvesting. The very technology that had allowed their civilization to flourish was now threatening to destroy them. Within hours, a massive human fleet arrived in the Zirconian system, led by the newly commissioned UNSS Prometheus, Earth's most advanced scientific vessel. Dr. Amelia Roth, now the head of the Xenostines division, was among the first to beam down to the planet's surface. "Admiral," Dr. Roth said as she approached Sarah in the hastily established crisis center, "we've analyzed the data. The situation is grave, but not hopeless. We believe we can stabilize the core, but it will require technology we've only theorized about until now." Sarah leaned in, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" Dr. Roth's eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "We're proposing to create a network of quantum stabilizers throughout the planet's mantle. In theory, they should be able to dampen the cascade reaction and gradually return the core to its normal state." "In theory?" Sarah questioned, arching an eyebrow. Dr. Roth nodded grimly. "It's never been attempted at this scale. The power requirements alone are staggering, and we'll need to drill deeper into a planet's core than anyone has ever gone before." Sarah turned to Zix, who had been listening intently. "Chancellor, the choice is yours. This plan is risky, but it's the best chance we have to save your world." Zix's skin rippled with a mix of emotions. "The fate of our entire species rests on this decision. But as you humans say, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We trust you, Admiral Chen. Proceed with the plan." With the Zirconians' approval, the operation kicked into high gear. Massive drilling rigs, hastily adapted with Zirconian phase shift technology, began boring into the planet's crust. Teams of human and Zirconian scientists worked around the clock, refining the quantum stabilizer design and running countless simulations. As the days passed and the planet's instability grew, Sarah found herself stretched to her limits. She coordinated the efforts of millions of workers, both human and Zirconian, all while trying to maintain calm among the planet's increasingly frightened population. It was during one particularly tense moment, as they prepared to activate the first set of stabilizers, that Sarah received an unexpected message. It was from her old mentor, Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka. "Sarah," the grizzled veteran's hologram said, his face etched with concern, "I just wanted to say, what you're attempting there, it's unprecedented. The risks to our people, to our ships. Some back home are questioning whether we should be involving ourselves to this extent in an alien world's problems." Sarah felt a flash of anger, quickly suppressed. "With all due respect, sir, that's not who we are. Humanity doesn't turn its back on friends in need. The Zirconians are counting on us, and we will not let them down." Tanaka's stern expression softened into a proud smile. "That's exactly what I hoped you'd say, Sarah. You have the full support of Starfleet Command. Give 'em hell." As the communication ended, Sarah turned back to the task at hand with renewed determination. The first wave of quantum stabilizers was ready. It was time to put their theory to the test. "All teams report in," she called out over the command channel. One by one, the responses came back. Human and Zirconian voices, united in purpose, confirmed their readiness. "Very well," Sarah said, taking a deep breath. "Commence activation sequence." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the entire planet seemed to shudder. Holographic displays lit up with a dazzling array of data as the quantum stabilizers came online, reaching deep into the planet's core. "It's working," Dr. Roth exclaimed, her eyes flying over the incoming data. "The cascade reaction is slowing." A cheer went up from the assembled teams, but Sarah knew they couldn't celebrate yet. "Stay focused, people. We're not out of the woods until every stabilizer is online and that core is fully stable." The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. Sarah lost count of the number of times they had to make split-second adjustments, compensating for unexpected fluctuations in the planet's magnetic field or sudden surges of core energy. But finally, as the last stabilizer came online, the data screens showed what they had all been hoping for: a steady, stable core. The crisis center erupted in jubilation. Humans and Zirconians embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of their shared triumph. Sarah felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to see High Chancellor Zix, his eyes shimmering with emotion. "Admiral Chen," he said, his voice thick with gratitude, "you and your people have saved not just our world, but our entire civilization. We can never repay this debt." Sarah smiled, feeling the weight of the past few days finally lifting. "There's no debt between friends, Chancellor. We faced this crisis together, and we triumphed together. That's what our alliance is all about." As the celebrations continued around them, Sarah gazed out at the Zirconian sky, now clear of the ominous energy patterns that had haunted it for days. She knew that this crisis had changed everything. Humanity had proven, beyond any doubt, that they were not just equal partners in this alliance, but essential ones. The Human-Zirconian alliance had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger than ever. And Sarah knew that together, they were now ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might throw at them next. The alliance forged, humans and Zirconians unite. In the aftermath of the Zirconian homeworld crisis, the relationship between humans and Zirconians underwent a profound transformation. What had begun as a cautious partnership blossomed into a deep, unshakable alliance. The shared experience of averting planetary destruction had created a bond that transcended their biological differences. Admiral Sarah Chen found herself at the center of this new era of cooperation. In recognition of her leadership during the crisis, she had been appointed as the first human member of the Galactic Council, a joint governing body created to oversee the expanding Human-Zirconian alliance. On this particular day, Sarah stood before the Council in its newly constructed chambers on a space station orbiting Zircon. The station, aptly named Unity, was a marvel of joint Human-Zirconian engineering, symbolizing the best of both civilizations. "Honored members of the Council," Sarah began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We stand at a crossroads. Our alliance has proven its strength, but now we must decide how to move forward. The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders and dangers we have yet to imagine. I propose that we take the next step in our partnership, the creation of a joint exploratory fleet." High Chancellor Zix, now serving as the Zirconian representative on the Council, leaned forward with interest. "An intriguing proposal, Admiral Chen. Please, elaborate." Sarah nodded, activating a holographic display. "What I'm suggesting is a fleet that combines the best of both our technologies and philosophies. Zirconian longevity and wisdom paired with human adaptability and innovation. Ships crewed by both species, venturing into the unknown reaches of the galaxy." The council chamber buzzed with excitement. The idea was bold, unprecedented in the history of either civilization. But after their recent experiences, both humans and Zirconians were ready to embrace the extraordinary. Dr. Amelia Roth, now serving as the head of the Alliance's scientific division, stepped forward to support Sarah's proposal. "Our preliminary designs for these ships are truly revolutionary," she explained, manipulating the holographic display to show sleek, hybrid vessels. They incorporate Zirconian phase shift technology with human warp drive innovations, allowing for unprecedented speed and maneuverability. As the council deliberated, Sarah found her mind drifting to the potential implications of this project. If successful, it would represent a new chapter not just for their two species, but potentially for the entire galaxy. The The combined knowledge and capabilities of humans and Zirconians could unlock secrets of the universe that neither species could have discovered alone. After hours of discussion and debate, High Chancellor Zix called for a vote. The tension in the room was palpable as the council members registered their decisions. Sarah held her breath, knowing that this moment would shape the future of both their civilizations. Finally, Zix turned to her, his multifaceted eyes shimmering with what she now recognized as excitement. "Admiral Chen, it is my pleasure to inform you that the Council has unanimously approved your proposal. The joint exploratory fleet will become a reality." A cheer erupted in the chamber, council decorum momentarily forgotten in the wake of this historic decision. Sarah felt a wave of relief and exhilaration wash over her. They had done it. The next great adventure was about to begin. In the months that followed, the construction of the joint exploratory fleet became the Alliance's top priority. Shipyards around Earth and Zircon buzzed with activity as the new hybrid vessels took shape. Scientists and engineers from both species worked side by side, pushing the boundaries of what was technologically possible. Sarah found herself constantly amazed by the synergy between human and Zirconian approaches. Where humans brought speed and adaptability to problem-solving, Zirconians contributed patience and a long-term perspective. Together, they were achieving feats that would have been impossible for either species alone. One particular breakthrough came in the field of faster-than-light travel. By combining Zirconian phase-shift technology with human theories on wormhole manipulation, they created a new form of propulsion that could traverse vast galactic distances in a fraction of the time previously thought possible. As the first ships of the fleet neared completion, Sarah was approached by Dr. Roth, who wore an expression of barely contained excitement. "Admiral," she said, practically bouncing on her feet, "we've made an incredible discovery. You need to see this immediately." Intrigued, Sarah followed Dr. Roth to the research lab aboard Unity Station. There, a team of human and Zirconian scientists were gathered around a strange, pulsating artifact. "What am I looking at?" Sarah asked, studying the object with curiosity. Dr. Roth's eyes gleamed. "We believe it's a beacon, Admiral, of non-human, non-Zirconian origin." Sarah's eyes widened as the implications sank in. "You mean?" "Yes," Dr. Roth confirmed. "We found evidence of another advanced civilization out there, and this beacon, it's an invitation." The lab erupted into excited chatter as Sarah absorbed this world-changing information. Another alien civilization reaching out across the stars. The joint exploratory fleet would have a mission even before its official launch. As she left the lab to inform the council of this development, Sarah felt a sense of destiny. Humans and Zirconians had formed their alliance just in time. Together, they were ready to take their place on the galactic stage, to forge relationships with new civilizations, and face whatever challenges lay ahead. The next great chapter in their shared history was about to unfold, and Sarah Chen couldn't wait to see where it would lead. As she gazed out at the stars from Unity's observation deck, she smiled to herself. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. A new frontier, joint human-Zirconian space exploration. The launch of the joint exploratory fleet marked a new era for both human and Zirconian civilizations. The centerpiece of this ambitious venture was the HCSS Concordia, human-Zirconian spaceship, a magnificent vessel that represented the pinnacle of their combined technological achievements. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Concordia, marveling at the seamless integration of human and Zirconian design. The ship hummed with energy, its hybrid systems purring in perfect harmony. Around her, a mixed crew of humans and Zirconians worked together with practiced ease, their once alien differences now a source of strength. "Admiral," called out Lieutenant Commander Jack Harper, her human second-in-command. "All systems are green. We're ready for the jump to the beacon's coordinates." Sarah nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and trepidation. They were about to make first contact with a new alien civilization, venturing further into the galaxy than either humans or Zirconians had ever gone before. "Very well, Commander. Initiate the jump sequence." As the ship's revolutionary propulsion system spooled up, Sarah thought back to the beacon they had discovered. The artifact had been studied intensively for months, its message decrypted by the brightest minds of both species. The invitation was clear: "Come and meet us among the stars." The Concordia shuddered slightly as it entered the phase-shift wormhole, a dazzling tunnel of light that seemed to bend the very fabric of space-time. Moments later, they emerged in a star system unlike any they had ever seen. "By the ancestors," whispered Zeln, the Zirconian science officer. "Look at that structure." All eyes turned to the main view screen. Orbiting a vibrant blue-green planet was a colossal ring, clearly artificial in nature. It dwarfed anything humans or Zirconians had ever constructed, a testament to the advanced nature of this new civilization. As they approached the ring, a communication channel opened automatically. A melodious voice, neither human nor Zirconian, filled the bridge. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Elani. We welcome you to the Galactic Concord." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew, a mix of anticipation and nervousness evident on both human and Zirconian faces. This was the moment they had prepared for, the culmination of years of cooperation and mutual growth. "Greetings, Elani," Sarah responded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We are a joint expedition of humans and Zirconians. We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn and share knowledge." There was a pause, and then the voice returned, a note of curiosity evident. "Two species working as one. This is unexpected and intriguing. Please, dock your vessel at the designated port. We have much to discuss." As the Concordia maneuvered towards the massive space station extending from the ring, Sarah felt a sense of déjà vu. Once again, she found herself at the forefront of a momentous first contact. But this time, she wasn't representing just humanity or even the human-Zirconian alliance. They were here as ambassadors of a new way of thinking, a proof that different species could not only coexist, but thrive together. The following days were a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, cultural exchanges, and scientific discussions. The Elani, it turned out, were the custodians of the Galactic Concord, a loose federation of spacefaring civilizations dedicated to peaceful coexistence and the advancement of knowledge. Sarah and her crew learned that the galaxy was far more populous and diverse than they had ever imagined. Dozens of alien civilizations were part of the Concord, each with their own unique biology, culture, and technological specialties. The Elani had been watching both Earth and Zircon for centuries, waiting for the right moment to extend an invitation. "Your alliance," an Elani elder named Thala explained during one meeting, "is what convinced us you were ready. Many species achieve space travel, but few overcome their differences to form true partnerships. You have shown a capacity for growth and cooperation that is rare and valuable." As the discussions progressed, it became clear that the human-Zirconian alliance was being offered a place within the Galactic Concord. It was an opportunity beyond their wildest dreams, access to knowledge and technologies far beyond their current level, and a chance to contribute to a galactic community. But it also presented challenges. Joining the Concord would irrevocably change both human and Zirconian societies. They would be exposed to ideas and technologies that could upend centuries of established norms. The isolationist factions on both Earth and Zircon, who had only recently been silenced, might find new voice in the face of such monumental change. On the final day of their initial meetings, Sarah found herself in a private conversation with Thala. The Elani elder's iridescent skin shimmered in the starlight as they stood in an observation dome, the spectacular ring structure stretching out before them. "You seem troubled, Admiral Chen," Thala observed, her voice gentle. Sarah sighed, her gaze fixed on the stars. "I'm wondering if we're truly ready for this, Thala. The changes we're facing, they're enormous. What if we're moving too fast?" Thala made a sound that Sarah had learned was the Elani equivalent of a chuckle. "My dear Admiral, If there's one thing your alliance has proven, it's that you excel at adapting to change. Yes, the road ahead will be challenging, but consider how far you've already come. The Alani gestured towards the Concordia, docked gracefully at the station. Look at that ship. A few years ago, the idea of humans and Zirconians working together was unthinkable. Now, you explore the stars as one. That is the kind of adaptability and growth the Concord needs. Sarah nodded, feeling her resolve strengthen. Fowler was right. Every great advance came with risks, but staying still was the greatest risk of all. As she prepared to return to the Concordia and begin the journey home, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. They would take this opportunity, with all its challenges and potential pitfalls. Humans and Zirconians would face this new frontier together, just as they had faced every obstacle since their first meeting. The next few years would be crucial. There would be debates, negotiations, and undoubtedly some resistance. But Sarah was confident that both species were up to the task. They had proven their worth to each other, and now they would prove it to the galaxy at large. As the Concordia disengaged from the space station and prepared for the jump home, Sarah looked out at her mixed crew, humans and Zirconians working side by side, united in purpose. She smiled, feeling a swell of pride and hope for the future. "Well, everyone," she said, her voice carrying across the bridge. "It looks like our adventure is just beginning. Let's show the galaxy what humans and Zirconians can do together." With a flash of light and a surge of energy, the Concordia leaped into phase shift, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two civilizations on the brink of a new era. The stars streaked by, a dazzling display of cosmic beauty as they raced towards home and the exciting, challenging future that awaited them. In that moment, as human and Zirconian alike marveled at the wonders around them, Sarah knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it united. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but together, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.